That's kind of crazy how perfectly the music timed out for that, guys. But welcome back. Actually, they're playing some music here, I guess, too. Turn it down for now. We got the game sounds back up and running once the game's actually going. But we have the winners match coming up next, and it's going to be between Impact and Stats.
Ooh.
Also, during the break, dollars greater than bits. Shiz K donated $10. Hey. But actually, I'm going to disagree with you there, sir. For those who don't know, since January and still to today, we've been forwarding all donations we get to the Mega Tournament fundraiser. So for us, a donation actually doesn't do anything for us. It does, well, I guess that's wrong to say. Like, it does go towards content and creation, and most importantly, that big fundraiser helping us get the money to throw one really big, awesome event at the end of the year. However, bits are what we're taking for our own pockets. Things like bits are how means I'm going to buy our lunches and, I guess, pay for cat food or whatever. So,
Yes.
I do appreciate it nonetheless. Thank you very much, ShizK. And that $10 brings us up to $17 for today, which will be dropped off to the Mega Tournament fundraiser after stream. Actually, what are we at now?
$15 billion.
$15 billion?
Yeah.
15?
We really want to shoot for 16 billion. We're not too greedy.
StarCraft's like really bad at being a dead game if we raise that much money. I'll tell you that right meow. No, the Mega Tournament fundraiser is at $6,767. So what's cool about this is, like, even if we didn't raise a single cent more, and god damn it, we better keep raising more money, right? But even if we didn't raise another single cent for this fundraiser, that's already enough to help enhance the tournament. It means we don't get a big venue and we'll have to take some of the production costs out of the prize pool. But at the end of the day, like, my goal for the end of the year thing, I would love to have a prize pool big enough to entice all the players to play. To make it so it's like, okay, you know what, our tournament's not going to have WCS points, but there's like 30K in pricing. That would be the dream for me, obviously. But a little bit hard to pull that off. It's all about those funds. I think what would be really cool, though, as a concession, so to speak, would be, the first event we did with Ting and Corsair, I think went really well. Both sponsors seem to be pretty pleased with it. I would love to be able to work with them again. And that venue, for at least, that's not going to cost anything, which is great. So that's something where, like, okay, 6K, like, again, this is the hypothetical that we don't raise more money. I hope we do raise more money. I hope we can do really awesome things at really big places. But 6K could probably handle the flights for 8 players, and with those 8 players fly in the top 8 to play in this event for 30K, that'd be pretty sick. But again, I don't want to stop here, guys. I want this fundraiser to go all the way. Which I should note, by the way, we have a $500 show match, courtesy of Matcherino, queued up and good to go. We just have to find a day and time that we want to host it. So, some more promotion and cool content coming out of the fundraiser. It's a little bit sad we missed the mark on the AMA. I guess I got to talk to those guys about trying to coordinate a new one. Since, that was a little bit sad. But allegedly the Korean house had no power that morning or something. Stuff happens, and we just have to move on. I had a lot of fun just doing our little AMA, though, so it wasn't like a total waste, at the very least.
No, it wasn't. And I'm like, it seemed like everyone really enjoyed, in fact, just us as well. Like, no one was constantly trying to ask the Korean house questions. We had a ton of questions directed towards just me and you.
Yeah, it was good times. Well, I'm going to turn the sound on. I don't think there's going to be any sound coming out yet, but yeah, we should be getting this going away in a moment. While we are waiting to talk more about the Bit Boss, today's prize is another Hell It's Boot Time portrait. I'm going to say this is probably the last day we do prizes for a little bit, so whoever's the current Bit Boss, which right now is technically Castiana because the thing broke, but whoever's the biggest Bit Boss at the end of stream today will get a portrait code for the very rare whoa, I just hit my handset. The very rare, super exclusive, hard, actually not even just hard, literally impossible to get Hell It's a Boot Time portrait. We've given out 2 of these so far, and then Terminator's got a care package coming his way, which, I just realized that. I gotta mail that today, but it's probably gonna be raining again. Yeah. Oh, there's the music. Let's try this in a bit. So anyways, yeah, whoever kills the boss becomes the boss. That's how this works. If you are the current boss, you can contribute bits to heal yourself up. If people like Billy Bob are taking you down 20 bits at a time, shooting little pew, 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 little tiny bit arrows or whatever you call them. But looks like players about good to go. Let's swap to the game scene here as we got stats just kind of... I think he's got a case of restless leg syndrome.
He's gotta go, man. He's gotta go fast. He wants to get out of here. He's supposed to 2-0 everyone. Josh already messed up his plans.
He's Sonic the Stats Hog.
Good one.
Blue Street.
Good one.
Speeds by. Of course, Impact's gonna have a bit of trouble with this management. I mean, you got people like Sue and others who are, and no disrespect to Impact, like way better than Impact, and they can't take on stats. So maybe he's got a trick up his sleeve. I really don't know. I mean, we already saw drop play out of him versus Trust and other things, so he's willing to play a little bit outside the norm. Might be what he needs to take on stats. Either way, this is the winner's match of the group. So if either player loses, it's not the end of the world. They have another chance.
Yeah. Thinking of moving laterally for the 27-month resub.
Hey, Ting Open Hype.
Hey.
Has Rifkin ever played CG? No, we've never played. We should do a best of 3 sometime.
I was trying to think of a good joke, but I couldn't.
We have played many times.
He plays me every time. Yeah, we've played like 3 times, 3 best of 3s, I think.
Actually, in the realm of this question of like have they played, I guess technically you could also say have they played together, and I will say Archon modes is the most fun I've had playing anything with you in StarCraft.
If the Archon ladder was alive, I would easily still be playing that.
Yo, that super secret, not so secret project with Todd, I really wish we could like team Archon mode for that.
Yeah, it's not really that much a secret. Yeah, that would be a cool little addition though. Up in the bottom something it was stats.
Bottom right. Red pronouns. And his opponent top left, playing for Dead Pixels. It's Impact. So I noticed this before, and I just want to bring this up again. Like, Impact, I think, is either sitting at a different elevation than all the other players, or his monitor's up higher. But I notice he's regularly, like, looking up and, like, onwards, whereas everyone else is kind of head angled down. I'm wondering what's up with that.
It's a different elevation. Sounds like he's, like, on a mountain.
Yo.
Running out of oxygen.
But yeah, so those who don't know, Todd's trying to put together, like, a caster tournament, which is going to be kind of interesting. I think everyone wants one of these, and it's kind of like, yeah, whether people want to actually play or not. I literally responded with, like, I guess I'll play if Zombie plays, right? Like, that was my response, because I'm not super enthusiastic about it. But I'm hoping he puts out rules, and I'm hoping the rules aren't too specific, so I can try and pull some Scarlet race-switching tier of, like, shenanigans. Be like, oh, well, it doesn't say we can't play Archon mode.
Oh, God. One of those things again. We already got in trouble for playing 3-person Archon mode.
But it wasn't in the rules, so that's the point.
Oh boy. Well,
technically Nate got in trouble. He was the captain of the team. Okay, we were just collateral damage.
Okay. Well, anyway, I mean, it's always been. I don't know. I feel like before I really had the strong opinion that it just wouldn't be worth whatever crap the casters got for being extra Y league or doing extra Y stupid thing because they're not pros. But I actually don't feel that way anymore, to be honest. It's like the scene is so small. Everyone has gotten over the whole like lol tasteless gold league, lol Maynard, whatever. Like it's for the most part over. So I mean, everyone saw you Battle Cruiser Rush, okay? Like everyone knows everyone's skill nowadays. I feel no one's really too whatever you want to call it, like how would you call it? Like no one's like too held up to those standards. Like you have to be GM or you're just a terrible caster. I haven't heard that in a while.
Well, I think part of that's the other side of it too, where you're like, oh, Nate is GM, and he still gets shit for not knowing what he's talking about, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
Only master, well, not your grandmaster, only grandmasters, right? Like, it doesn't stop.
It never
to be
does.
perfectly clear for those who don't know, I'm not technically ranked right now, I think, but I do float between Diamond and Masters, like depending on how much I feel like playing. You don't become a co-op god by playing ladder. You know what I'm saying? I think Zombie Up herself has been pretty regularly Masters, but neither of us are super extraordinary at the game. But things like this can be fun.
Yeah. If anything, gives me a reason to play pretty consistently for like a week, and then I get over it. Woo! That's how I do it.
But yeah, it comes in spurts, right? Oh,
yeah, exactly.
By the way, so Twilight Council does get laid down with a Dark Shrine. So Stats is going to go for a classical build here. And, I mean, this didn't work before. So maybe there's something where, like, Impact is good against this build in specific. But the problem for me was Trust is also not nearly as good at Protoss as Stats is, in my opinion. So I really don't want to judge this off the previous series, even though it was already a PvZ for Impact.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it at all. Like, not to be too BM the Trust, but it was just like, it wasn't clean at all. And the real epitome of Protoss play is not like necessarily the micro, in my opinion, but it's the combination of the two, right? It's the calmness in the face of lane drops, so that you get that third base of the perfect timing, followed by the tech at the perfect timing, so you have just barely the amount of mortals. Like, it's all that comes together that looks really pretty when you see Protoss play. And Trust just did not have pretty Protoss play, as dumb as it is to say. And Impact, to be honest, didn't really have gorgeous Zerg player either, right? Like, to be fair. And if it's the same Impact as last series, I think Stats is going to be a lot better.
Well, so I wonder about that too, though, for Impact, right? Like, I don't look at that series and say Impact played bad objectively, but I will say, like, that he played bad to Trust objectively, and I think part of that was, like, maybe over-dedication and overreaching mixed with, at the same time, paranoia. You're like, you can't be losing this badly. Like, you must have something in your pocket, like, and so you play a little bit safer and not. Anyways, point is, we'll see. As he does block this out, super annoying because that bought time for the Lings to get over here. They kill the probe, and that's real nice.
Being very conservative with his overcharge, but the pylon is done. There you go.
Yeah, other side of the map looks like that War Person finally got some action going, and this was DTs, right?
Yeah, but I feel like the new thing to do for most players and what we didn't see for Trust, well, I guess the real new thing to do is do double War Prism, but before that was the case, it was to make only 2 DTs initially and kind of like poke, and then make another 2 DTs, and that's exactly what Stats did. The DTs were not going to work out, so it just makes some Archons. And they might work out. Already get 2 drones, might get this queen. Oh, get it, Vader! Only get 1 queen. That's the important thing. That second queen's probably going to go down eventually, to be honest. An Overlord gets caught in the middle of the map by a single Stalker. That doesn't usually happen if Lings are already on the field. And already, that's some decent damage. Impact goes for a very quick Spire, all things considered. Not too surprised to see a Spire in general, especially if a War Prism is giving you a special amount of trouble, which, you know, this is
the War
starting to
Prisms
do.
give you an extra special dose of love.
Yeah, exactly. Specifically, target firing that Observer actually looks so suspicious, but there was no other reason to do that other than just that was what he's focus firing. But right, it's a super early Spire. I mean, he didn't get any upgrades before this. He really didn't go into Roaches despite having Roaches, a Roach Warren, and it is scouted.
Well, I will say that all things considered, Impact not dying is already really good. I'm thinking back to watching games Mono versus Snoot, and of course early games of Zest versus Zerg in general, and these War Prism attacks really can get out of hand. It's a decent deflection to start, to say the least.
Stats sees the Spire, and this is not a mistake to continue going for charge. If he was going for charge and staying at home getting a 4th base, that's also still maybe not a mistake, but is a little more suspicious. The fact that he's already attacking, he wants to kill the Spire player, in this case Impact, before the Spire gets out of control, and it's totally doable. Like, that was, in a way, a greedy Spire just because it was so much tech that really needs time to develop and be utilized, that an immediate attack actually just usually kills a Zerg player. It's a real gamble, and Impact is the one that made a mistake by letting it get scouted.
The Banelings are going to be questionable at best here. I mean, it's always nice to have them, but the Zealots aren't the problem. It's the Archons, it's the Immortals. And those poor little Banelings with no speed are going to have a hard time getting through any of this.
Yeah.
So I'm a little sad like this. Sorry, go on.
Go ahead.
No,
you.
after you.
No, you.
Let's make this more awkward.
No.
Okay, I was gonna say I'm very sad the Spire never got into play. If for no other reason, like 1 or 2 mutas, like okay, there we go. They're doing some harass over here, but I wish they were killing the War Prism. It's the
Right.
reinforcements of stats that are going to kill Impact, not the probes that are mining on the other side of the map.
You're right. A lot of times it is, although it looks like maybe that wasn't the case here. But that's also what I was going to bring up before our awkward little, you curse, is that that's going to be a little bit.
Your microphone is being incredibly awesome right now. The volume specifically, the problems we've been having. So, 1 second, here, guys, while we fix this.
I don't know.
Hey, you sound great again, Zombie. Hey, Zombie, what are you up to later today after the cast?
Playing video games.
Really? I think you should instead go out and buy a new XLR cable.
So, I even unplugged and plugged it back in before the cast.
Yeah, but this happens during the cast. Like you really need a new cord, like Amazon Prime it or something, dog. Like,
I know. I was just saying that I anticipated it could have gone even faster. It's lasted almost 2 hours.
oh wow, I like the pre-prep. The pre-prep for the unexpected.
Yeah.
Alright, well, Impact will also have to do preparation for the unexpected with that smooth segue. Moving into game number 2, starting up right now. Map is going to be Belshear Vestige.
Should I get the 6 feet or the 15 feet?
The way I look at it is the more feet, the more cord for Apollo to chew on, right?
Yeah.
Isn't
really
it something like cats don't like citrus, right? Just spray it with like a lemon or something.
He'll power through it if he wants that attention that much.
I hate this so much. Mom, I hope you appreciate how much I love you. Is VSL equal SSL? No. This is a completely different tournament run by different folks.
That's why it's a different acronym. I'm sorry.
It is. Shut up. It is worth noting though that the VSL has a really cool dynamic to it. For those who don't know, I think it's top 4 players. Okay, well, hang on. Bottom right. Quick intros because we don't have control over them. It's stats.
In the top left, Luzerg. He is Impact.
All right, gonna answer a couple questions here real quick, guys. First off, top 4 players of this tournament get to be captains and get to pick their players and their team for a team league that follows up. So this is the VSL individual league, and it's going to lead into the VSL team league. Second off, why double headphones or earphones or whatever you want to call them? And the thing is, I don't think it's so much about soundproofing or anything, but I imagine they probably still put them on to be safe. Like you've got the inner one for blocking or for hearing the in-game sounds and hearing the attacks coming. Then you got another set on top of it so that you don't hear Cantana and whoever the girl is like off to their right talking about the game. Cantana? I can never remember how to say his name. The VSL caster.
Yeah.
The one that didn't walk in front of our camera at Busan.
Hey. Ho. He's the real pro.
I never thought I'd have what an idiot moment, but I did, and it felt great. I did love his response to realizing what he had done, to come back in front of the camera, go even closer, and make faces.
Yeah, he was funny about it.
Yeah, I like him. I like him a lot. It would be cool if we got to go back to Busan again, but that's I don't know.
I mean, I would, obviously back to Korea in general is always awesome for me, but Busan really was not that impressive. It was a city, sure, and that's great, but it was more like a American city in my opinion.
Yo, G-Star, I was also I'm like 50-50 on the actual like the event that the Alima League and VSL finals happened at last year, guys, was kind of like, you want to think BlizzCon but for all games type thing. It was really big and really cool, but I also kind of felt like I did everything in a day, and we were there for like a week. Yeah,
for sure, I agree. Like it wasn't as cool as I expected. I mean, some of that also had to do with the fact that Busan's really like a beach city, but also for anyone who wants to is thinking about visiting Busan because it sounds so amazing, right? Oh, beach city. It's really not. Like the beach actually sucks except for like 2 months out of the year. So I don't know why people go to Busan really. The more I think about it, the more I talk to people, but it was still a very cool experience. And if that's where we have to cast StarCraft live, then I'm not going to say anything.
I just want to cast more StarCraft live. The thing is, I know there's a lot of things to talk about, like in terms of brand building and like experience and blah blah blah. But honestly, it's more fun. Like hanging out with you and Nate in person, standing next to each other in front of a crowd where we get to see them, hear them cheering in the background. Like, really, it doesn't get better than that for me.
Yeah, it is very, very good.
Although, it's funny though, because when you can hear the crowd cheer, this happened at Hell's Boot time too. When you're casting up there, you can't actually hear them laughing or reacting to things. So we would have like production kind of lean in and be like, "Hey guys, they're laughing at your jokes right now. You're doing good. Keep it up." And I'm like,
yeah.
"Oh, cool. I can't hear it." And they're like, "Hey guys, they're still laughing. You're doing a great job." And I'm like, "Cool, but I can't hear it." Like,
I'm surprised you guys couldn't hear it, but I guess it was in the Observer headset.
yeah. Well, we it's also a little bit sad too because I like I said, if I could go back and do one more thing to change the event, I would mic the crowd. We had a really good crowd at Ting. And it was just a shame that going back to the VODs, you really could barely hear any of it.
Yeah. That is the extra special setup, though, to mic the crowd as well.
Yeah. Baby steps.
So.
Baby steps.
Right. I mean, full honesty here, they almost forgot to have sound going to the audience in general. So, you know, there's baby steps. But everything got fixed very well. Like, just like it... I was not nearly as concerned as for Hell's Boat time. Anyways.
Experience. Stats has gone for similar opening here. And the thing about this that's so good, like I could talk for a million reasons why I don't like the Dark Archon opener, right? But the thing that's good about it is aggression that is, for the most part, safe, can be devastating, but most importantly, doesn't seem to take away from your macro game. Like if you go 8 gateways with Adepts for aggression, that's not aggression, that's all in, and you're not recovering if that goes badly. What I love about the DTs is even if you lose like the first 2, you can still get moderate damage, and you're not dedicating your livelihood to this.
Well, there's already Sport Color and there's an Overseer. You don't have to go for a layer this quick to defending into DTs, but it is certainly safe, and you can get that Roach speed very quick, so going for like a follow-up Roach pack, like we saw, Impact versus Trust, does happen pretty immediately. Oh, he tried to save that Stalker.
He did. I do want to respond to this comment in chat, by the way, saying the production was just embellishing. No one laughs at Rifkin's jokes. Well, I could argue that would be true. My shining moment was I made a cat pun and heard the audience groan. Hearing 50 people groan at your pun in real life is the best feeling.
Yeah, I think someone might have booed at one point too.
Yeah.
The production guy, what was his name?
Andreas. He was awesome.
Andreas, yeah. He was really cool. And like that one little like weird like everyone's laughing thing aside, I actually really, it was so dumb. Whenever he was like, "You guys did great. Way to go. You look beautiful. You're good." And I was like, "You do look beautiful." Thank you.
I put makeup on and everything. You're damn right I look good.
Yeah, he was very casual about it. He was...
Andreas is great. I would love to work with Andreas again. The whole Corsair team was super accommodating. 10 out of 10 would work with any of those guys again.
They got us Hawaiian barbecue.
Except for Miss Magitech. She was... Tracy was just the worst.
She really wasn't.
She couldn't pick good boyfriends in the card game.
It was so nice. Whoa! Oh.
I know. I knew I needed to distinguish that. Someone's gonna tweet to Rotterdam. "Oh my God, Rifkin, start change your way."
Oh, that's not right, man. No, that was a fun night.
I like that sound I made. Yeah, good times around. But anyways, the game is starting to finally shape up into some really fun action. And while the Archons aren't doing a lot right now, we do see Impact with a considerable amount of roaches, and he's still laying it on thick. He's got the weapon upgrades coming with him too. I would love if this actually had more queens with it, whether it's drops, walks, or Nidus Worms. Either way, I think they'd be a huge asset. Have those in the front line tanking the immortal shots instead of the roaches.
So Impact seems to be going for a lot like what he was doing versus Trust on Newkirk, right? Like the roach all-in, basically. You don't have a 4th base, and even if you get a 4th base, it's not going to be saturated. You're not at an amazing drone count, and you just really swell with roaches and ravagers with +1. But there's like key differences, right? Like Trust did not have as fluid as a macro game because there's a whole Ling drop. His Warp Prism didn't do much of anything to buy any time, which Impact is not, or Stats not just buying time, he's also like actually have a decent counterattack. And Stats might know it's coming, might not. I'm actually not sure. His army positioning is kind of weird. I don't think he knows where it's coming, the problem. But he knows it's coming. Yeah, there we go. And he has 4 immortals, not 2 or 3. So he's better set up to help defend against this, but it is a large army.
Look at the picture watching those Archons go to
No.
town, but unfortunately, I don't think those Archons stand a chance. Not with that defense at home. So as Impact continues to push the front lines, these Immortals are doing a great job beating back the Roaches. His numbers are being cut down really quickly, but he still is up like 30 army supply. 40 army supply now. Well, it's varying with Warpins. Point is, Impact's winning the supply game.
He is, but, you know, he is not as much as he was a minute ago, or even 30 seconds ago. That was a pretty perfect hold, almost, at the shot Corsair Gear in his Sentries, and that was like the worst thing that happened for stats. And he's continuing to build his Immortal counts. Upgrades will finish, Templar Archive, so we can get the gas investment into the Archons, so the mineral investment. And Impact was quite dedicated with that. He's only just making drones. He did not get a 4th base to even transfer drones to, and still isn't getting one. And is choosing to go for a Spire and a Hydralisk then, which I don't know why. I question it because I just don't think he can afford it. So if it's only the 8 mutas, that's still a big mineral and gas investment for someone on 3 bases. 4th base finally planted down. But maybe he's hoping that stats will like see this and choose wrong with how to defend. I'm not sure.
I mean, it's always a possibility, but Stats is such a good decision maker. It's gonna be really hard to make. Like, to rely on Stats to make the wrong decision is the wrong decision.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. The Hydras unfinished, I believe. Canceled. And it could just be also for lurkers, like thinking like long term. Nope, Hydralisk upgrade, never mind. Okay. Well, Impact's out of gas already because yeah, that's a lot of gas investment.
Ass, gas, or grass. Nobody rides for free.
Stats has really bridged that army supply and could probably take a 4th base now.
I think, okay, so the Hydras I actually like quite a bit, but he went for those mutas again, right? I think he made like, what, 5 or 6 of those? And I really hope he uses this for the Warp Prism before going for the Probe Lines. This Warp Prism was such a big part of why Stats was able to just constantly on that pressure, but it looks like, nah, he's just beelining it across the map. This is not a bad move, don't get me wrong. I think that the 4 or 5 probes you kill with this isn't worth Stats having free reign of a Warp Prism.
I agree, yeah. And I'm also still questioning if it was worth the gas investment. Because, you know, one, it isn't killing the Warp Prism. Even if it did, I wonder about it. Doesn't find any holes in the probes, even without Blink. Even Stalkers, like regular unupgraded Stalkers, can deal with this many mutas. And this is really just something that can help deal with harassment a little bit. It gets a couple of probes, but that's still not that impressive. It is buying time, however. Stats, I don't think is willing to push out quite yet, though. I think he would rather get a 4th base and then push.
Yeah, that is part of it, I guess. I don't really think about it too often, but the time buying element, the fact that Stats might just pull home and focus on this, could be worth whatever, even if it's not getting that many actual kills. But Stats isn't turning around. He's going full bore. The Zealots are waiting. He's going to pounce on this base. Impact's going to have to cancel that and possibly even lose the left side while this goes on. That's a big ball of product that has... Ah, God, that's so many Immortals.
4th base was slapped down, so it'll just be if it doesn't work and he has to go defend his base, it'll be right there. But I really feel like it's gonna work. That's a lot of Immortals. Archons will soak a lot of the hits. Banelings aren't even really in play here, so charge out Warp Winds will be effective. This base is, I think, forfeit. But if Impact lost it and then continued the game, maybe that would be okay.
Oh, man. Impact, like, I really like the idea of all these Hydras, and he's like on 16+. He's moving towards Lurkers, but like, none of that's ready to go for right now, and the base going down is expensive. He doesn't have a wraparound from the backside. As we can see, his Ravagers not even in the fight. They're just walking in the back lines because they can't get in range of this.
Yeah.
I feel like...
he got maxed out. He got to a decent Hydralisk count, despite investment of mutas, but it just... It was already against an army that was going to beat him. Mass Mortal.
Yeah. I was going to say, too, by the way, I feel like this reminds me a little bit of every time we analyze Beal's play. GG, Stat 6 game. It reminds me a little bit of when we analyze Beal's play, and he does like those wraparounds, and he wins fights other players don't, because he's always attacking like 2 sides, not just slamming into one wall of force fields. But I guess Stats very, very happy. We'll take the series and be first out of the group. So yay! Super unexpected! Stats, you did it! Underdog story is real! I think everybody came into today pretty clear with the understanding it was going to be stats winning the group, but it was going to be an intense fight for position 2. So now we have Trust versus Jockshi coming up next in a TVP to see which of them even has a chance to fight against Impact.
Yep.
You got to... Wow, dude. Congratulations.
I'm gonna be rich.
Buy me a boat when you get rich, okay? We're going to go to a commercial break of 2 minutes. When we're back, hopefully the losers match will be ready to go. And we'll see you guys in a bit. Thanks for watching.